welcome back to Me Watch Movie. I'm Mike, he's Jay. Another Halloween update for your ass.
Wow.
Wow.
Another one keeps coming.
It keeps coming.
Wait a minute. A dead fuck?
What? A dead fuck? A lousy lay. You know? A dead... Oh, I see. Oh, don't hold it back from me, Doc. I can take it. Give it to me straight.
So you call it a dead fuck?
A dead fuck?
I did not say it. The computer did. Yeah, well, there is no computer. Aha. And there's no Betty, either. And I'm a dead fuck.
God, this news is crazy, and I think at the forefront when you hear it, because you haven't heard this yet.
Fortnite.
when you hear it at first, your natural inclination made to get a little bit disappointed, but don't. I'm telling you don't, because
I'm already disappointed.
You gotta read this article for yourself. So everybody knows, we talked about in the last video, that James Jude Courtney is going to be a version of Michael Myers in the movie. He's going to play a part of it.
Okay.
And everybody kind of thought, okay, well, Nick Castle's older, he's going to do the stunt role.
Makes sense.
That's what everybody said. They're like, it's no big deal. What's everybody so worried about anyways? He's just going to do stunts because, you know, Nick Castle's older. But Halloween Daily News, which is an amazing website, we'll put their link below because you've got to read this article for yourself. It's really long and in-depth. They did an interview with James Jude Courtney.
I hope it's not too long.
That's what she said. From what he's saying, it sounds a lot like James Jude Courtney is going to be Michael Myers in this movie, and Nick Castle's doing more of a cameo appearance.
What?
The interview's really in-depth, and when you read what he's saying and how he talks about how he got into the role, what he's done in the past, how he feels about it, his thoughts on it, how it all transpired, I'm really excited to see this guy play Michael Myers, man. Like, he is 100% full on about it, and I can't wait to see it.
Oh, God, but it's not Nick Castle.
It's not Nick Castle.
We've been lied to.
It goes really in depth about all that, too. And I think in the interview, in a weird way, it sounds like he's trying to get the word out there, but he's not being a dick about it. He's not like, everybody thinks it's Nick, it's actually me. He's super appreciative of Nick. Like, he talks about him like he's the best guy in the whole wide world, which he is, because he's an awesome dude. But
well, he's trying to pad his diapers because he knows the fallout might be great.
Here's what he said, just a little piece of what he said. He said, stunt coordinator Ron Hutchinson, who did the Rob Zombie Halloweens, has been around for years. And when he read the script, he told Malek Akkad and David Gordon Green, look, this is a role that, the way it's written, this is really physical, and it's also going to demand really deep acting chops. So you need a guy who can do both. In December, they sent me out to do the life cast of my face. So I went out and I met makeup effects artist Christopher Nelson for the first time. We did the life cast. We cast the mask to my face and the other prosthetics, which you will discover during the course of the film.
If they did a mold of his face, that means that they're going to mold the mask around the guy's face to make it more contour to what his specific, features are. Which means that there's no William Shatner.
No, that's not what that means. That's not what that means.
What does it mean?
They talk about the mask later on. But don't you worry, Sally.
The rise of Leslie Vernon.
They could have had the design of it the way they wanted it to be. They could have just taken that design and morphed it to fit his face a little bit better.
Where's the corkscrew?
I said, then in January I went down to Charleston, South Carolina, and we did a week of rehearsal. David called me actually prior to the rehearsal, and we talked about the character, we talked about the movement. He said, look, I really see a certain, yes, the shape moves a certain way, and Nick Castle was the one that created the iconic sort of presence, but I have this idea that there's a certain cat-like quality to the efficiency and movement. He said, and David was also really sensitive and generous, and this is the part where you get the real idea of who's actually playing more of Michael Myers in this movie. He says, David was also really sensitive and generous when he said, we're inviting Nick Castle to come back to do a little work. Do you have a problem with that because you're the Michael Myers now? And I was like, oh my God, are you kidding? What an honor it would be first of all, to meet the guy, but secondly, to work with him. How good does that get?
Well, that's fine, and he sounds appreciative. I mean, it's kind of like the guy that played Jason in the remake. I mean, that guy was like really loving that part. Like, that guy worshipped Friday the 13th series. He was a fan of it. This guy sounds like a fan too, just based on what I'm hearing about how he's talking about it. But still, I think a lot of people are just kind of like, their tits are kind of down now because they're thinking like, well, even if it was just a few stationary scenes with Nick Castle, maybe they want to see Nick Castle more in the film. He
goes into that. He says, so we started work, and I can't remember if it was the second or third week that Nick came in and kind of did a cameo. He did a couple of scenes, and I'm in the scenes with him, which is really beautiful. He and I were hoping that would happen because he even said, this is the passing of the torch. We met with foreign journalists on the set, and Nick was so super gracious and just saying, look, I've come in to do a cameo. Jim is our Michael Myers now. So through filming, I'm in every scene. I was there almost every day, long days. Extremely physical role. And like I said, you guys have got to read the interview because it's just so long we can't go through it all, but he talks about all the shit that he's going to be doing in the movie, and he talks about how like he really put himself in the role and the idea in his head of where it was. Like, they really did everything to make it seem like this is the same Michael from the original Halloween, and this is what he's like 40 years down the road. No one knows what happens in between, but he's like, that is everything about this character, and encapsulates that Michael 40 years from now.
But he is playing Michael Myers. Like, it's not like he's playing some kind of newer, younger, different Michael Myers.
Absolutely. But the interview asked him, because obviously you think there's not going to be two Michaels, right? You know, because he said we're in scenes together. He said, the interviewer said, it sounds great. I just want to go back a little bit to working with Nick. When you say you did scenes together, I'm assuming you mean it will be intercut with the two of you, not two Michaels in the same scene. And let's put that baby to bed real quick. He said, that's correct, exactly. The thing is, I didn't look at any press while I was working. I just wanted to stay focused. But I started reading this thing about my being his stunt double. I mean, Nick is 5'10", 170 pounds, and I'm 6'3", 210 pounds. Big difference. I think that'd be really difficult to pull off. Nick was very gracious. Of course, we want the fans to understand that he's back. And I'm not much of a self-promoter at all. I never have been. But the other side of that is Nick said, look, man, you're doing the work. You take the credit for what you do. The fans are going to love you, and the fans are awesome.
Well, that would be, and that's, again, that just shows Nick Castle being a gracious guy that he is. Because Nick Castle and everything throughout the entire filming process this has been going on, he's never once come out and said, I am the shit. And everything else came after me sucked. He's being gracious and he is saying that, but I think in a way, I think people are just kind of like, it's kind of a bumming kind of news, because it's like, well, I wanted to see Nick Castle, and if you'd had the other guy, I want to be like, okay, you're our Michael Myers, that's fine. Have him do the really physical parts and just have Nick Castle in it through the majority.
Apparently it's a lot of physical parts.
Well, fine, fuck it, put CG. No, I'm kidding. I get it, but I don't know. Like, in the 5'10", 170 pound Michael Myers, you know, that is a smaller guy, but, you know, in the original the original Halloween, he was 5'10" and 170 pounds, and for whatever reason, that made him scarier. Like, he did, like, move around, and the way that Nick Castle placed himself in certain scenes. And by the way, I just want to, how do you fucking, like, rehearse for scenes? Like you're wearing a mask. And you're like, okay, I want you to stab me like this. Like, stab me like your fucking ex-girlfriend. Hey, and he was like, okay, so like this? And it's like, no. Your ex-girlfriend owes you money and it's fucking your best friend. Like this. And he's like, okay, I got it now.
I'm telling you though, man, like, if you, and this works out perfectly the way we did this, where you haven't actually read the interview, because your natural reaction to someone hearing that, like, oh, fuck, god damn it,
natural
sucks. I wanted my Nick Castle and I need it now. Right. But when this is over, please click the link and read the article. This guy, I didn't even have a chance in reading this to even be like, down about it not fully being Nick Castle, because this guy sold me so much when he talks about like how he gets into the role of Michael, all the intricacies that actually go there, all the different tips and stuff that you're getting from people. He makes it seem a lot harder than anyone would imagine it to be. Just put on a mask and go. This guy put his heart and soul into it, man. And I'm telling you, this guy will sell the shit out of you. I can't wait to see it.
I'm gonna be positive about it, but again, okay, well, I guess we'll just be satisfied with the fact that he'll be in it for somewhat. I mean, it'll be a cameo, even though he is wearing a mask, but maybe they'll do an iconic scene with him again. Maybe they'll do him, like, you know, running to the top of the steps and looking down like he did in the first original one, or maybe the head cock movement. There's something about, but it's going to be hard, because if the difference is 5'10", 170, 6'3", 210, or 6'2", whatever it is, that's going to be a little difficult to shoot on camera, but we'll see.
Look how they make Tom Cruise look in every movie. He's like 5 foot tall. He's like Muggsy Bogues. They make him look like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Tom Cruise's acting ability, ego is well beyond 7 feet.
His ego makes him bigger
7 feet at least.
Instantly.
But I also was going to think, well, you said that, well, they're
just keep telling yourselves that about your dicks. I swear to God it works. Just pretend it's big.
It for sure works.
Every time.
All the time.
Once you read this interview, you're going to feel totally different about it. Like when he talks about all the intricacies
yes.
and all the things that he did to get into the role of Michael, I think it's going to be great. He even mentions at one point a Steadicam shot that they were sure they were going to have to use digital to cut in, but they actually pulled it off.
Oh, they went back old school Steadicam.
Yeah, and he says they do a lot of that shit, man, and just there's so many little things about the movie that he talks about in this interview. You got to read it. Everybody's kind of wondering, what is John Carpenter's involvement? Like, how much does he actually have to do with this? We know he read the script and approved of it.
His ponytail makes it everything.
Going to do the score. But he provides some good insight on that too. He said, John was there for a few days, enough to be around and see things and meet people. I don't know this, but my take was he didn't want to be the 800-pound gorilla in the room. He wanted to come in, give everybody his blessings, shake some hands, look in some people's eyes, have a few laughs, suck some dicks, and move on. He didn't say that.
Just right.
He was letting John Carpenter suck nobody's dick. You suck John Carpenter's dick.
They live.
He was letting David and the Roughhouse Blumhouse crew do what they do, which is what a great filmmaker would do. When you bring talented people like that, you've got to let them run.
Right.
So that tells you a lot.
He was shaking hands, looking in people's eyes, like the devil's eyes.
No, but this is no Steven Spielberg, Tobe Hooper, Poltergeist situation. Like, John Carpenter was just there for a few days. He gave his blessing, and his DNA is going to be there. But it's not like what I think some people's going to gonna believe, but this is great. They're talking next about what it was like to put on the mask for the first time, and his answer was fucking impeccable. Okay? He said, I don't know that I had an awareness of, oh my God, I'm Michael Myers, but here's what happened. We were doing some work prior to my getting the mask, shooting a very complicated scene. Christopher Nelson shows up on set at 11 or 12 o'clock at night.
Perfect time.
He had just flown in from Los Angeles carrying a box. And it's like, okay, he's got the mask.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I hope someone said that. So David, Danny, Jeff, Mike, Ron, and myself, we all walked off to a room to the side where nobody could see it. And Chris pulled out the mask and said, okay, Jim, let's put it on and see what it feels like. So I walk over and he puts it on me and fastens it for me.
Fastens?
Yeah, I know. That's that shit's tight. Velcro. And I was like, whoa. David goes, what does it feel like, Jim? I said, lowers voice to a near whisper, it's perfect for killing. It was perfect.
That's what, like, when Mike and I try mask ons or get shipped a mask and we'll put it on, we'll say this, like, I'm Michael Myers. I'm the captain now.
It's perfect.
I'm the captain.
That's what I say when my wife buys me steak knives for Christmas. Yeah. I'm actually upset. Trying to hide it.
Again, it's just showing, his appreciation for the Michael Myers series and theme and franchise and the legend. I mean, if you're not a fan, you would never put that mask on, and you just walk around like, whatever. You got a beer? Like, he's putting it on, like, I feel like killing. Like, it's cool. I mean, it'd be like if you put on Freddy Krueger's glove, like, I want to slice shit up.
And he goes more in depth in the article that you got to read, like the things he talks about, what it's like to have that mask and stuff. But there's a lot of stuff about the mask in this. Like, you get the fact that they're actually molding it to his face. It does fasten.
I know. I was thinking of this image in my head. Like, either one of us put that mask on if we were chosen. And the first thing you do, and you would do that thing from like when you win in a gladiator tournament. You're like, ah! Like, you would start screaming into the dark, and they would be like, what's wrong with you? It's just a mask. Like, no, it's more than that. My name is Marcus Aurelius.
Halloween Daily News did an interview with Sean Clark, who, if you're into Halloween, like, you know who he is. Like, he's one of the biggest Halloween fans out there. He runs a lot of stuff that goes on at the conventions and stuff like that. But he saw the mask, and he said, I will say this, I liked it, and I'm a mask snob. This is from a guy who used to do masks and owns pretty much every version that's ever existed from the franchise. There are masks I hate from the series. It was a gasp of relief when I saw it, like, oh, cool, it looks good, I like it. I guarantee you, just like anything in life, some people are going to hate it. People are going to think it's the greatest mask ever, and people are going to think it's the worst mask ever. I liked it, and I think fans will like it. For me, coming from him, and when he goes on to talk about how he feels about each mask, the way he feels pretty much goes right in line with us. Like, he didn't like the H4 mask either. For the same reason he didn't. From his feeling of the masks, what he says about it, I trust. It makes me even more psyched for it. I think we're getting the original Shatner with some differences.
And we get that. I don't know how that would be, like, some fans are going to hate it. Like, if it was even remotely similar to the original Shatner mask, I think it would be universal that fans would accept it. Because I know there are fans, which I don't know how much crack you smoked, that liked Halloween 5. That fucking, like, weird fucking, like, redneck version of the mask.
Mona Lisa, I call it.
My hair's falling out because I can't find my niece to kill her. That mask. And even Halloween 4, the very, like, again, Star Trek Next Generation Data mask. There are fans of it, but it was a surprise.
Ben Tramer.
But you're saying that some people will like it and some people will hate it. The only other mask I could think of where it was kind of divisive with that was a lot of people, and it's true. There was a 50-50 on Rob Zombie's version of the mask because I thought it was cool. Like, I thought the original mask they used for the Rob Zombie Halloween 1 was a pretty cool mask. I mean, as far as what they did with it. A lot of people didn't like it though. They thought they detracted from it. They thought it looked like shit. For whatever reason, they thought the contours were off. They didn't think the mask really was intimidating enough. Hopefully it's good. And if they're using the Shatner, at least a version of it, and contours of the other guy's face, maybe it looks really fucking awesome. I don't know. So I'm gonna stay hopeful.
I'll leave it on this, man. It's hard for me to really paint a picture of all the things that this article has in it, like, and the way he talks about Michael, and the way he talks about how things transpired and how everything went. Because the big, bold, on fire headline is...
That sounds like Doritos' new... The big, bold flavor.
Is Nick Castle's not actually Michael Myers. It's more of a cameo. And I think that people are going to see that and it's going to fucking explode on their face. If you read this interview, you get the biggest sense of just, like, what he went through to put himself in that role. And he's taking it as serious as anybody could possibly take. Playing Michael Myers, and it's fucking beautiful, and it's amazing, and I swear to God, if you read this article, you will feel better. So before you tweet, or Facebook, or even put your thoughts below, I would totally read this article, listen to this guy talk, and I think you'll be as excited as I am to see him play. I'm still excited to see Nick Castle. I feel amazing about the fact that we're going to see Nick Castle, that we're going to throw some love his way, but in a different way. I'm really excited about this guy too, and I hope that's okay.
I have a question. How do you listen to an article? Is it audio? Is there an audio? No.
Well,
you have to read it.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said listen.
Fuck you!
Well, fuck!
Have you a stomach pounder and a Coke and read this fucking interview. That's the Halloween update for this week. We love your goddamn faces, and if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button to get some motherfucking wham opinion.
And you guys haven't subscribed yet? I mean, what are you, a dead fuck?
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie. We watched a movie.